Wow, that was beautiful. And that song was beautiful too. Was that everything here is pretty rocking. Well, I have never met this man who's our guest speaker until today, but I knew that he was going to be absolutely wonderful because of who brought him here. You know, people in our congregation who are lights and wondrous beings, as we all are, said, we need this guy to talk. And I'm like, all right, because they were right. So Stephen Miller is a UCC pastor in Vermillion, South Dakota. He's also a professor of religion at USD. And here's how he got connected to us. He got connected to us through being, as he says, he is a dance leader in training, by the Dances of Universal Peace. So not only is he going to talk, I happen to know that he's going to dance too, in the afternoon. Let's welcome Steve Miller.
Thank you, Cynthia. And I'd like to greet all of you with grace and peace and with an open hand and an open heart. I want to bring you greetings from your brothers and sisters in South Dakota, not so far away. But glad to be here with you today and thank Morgan and Cindy and Kathy for opening this invitation in this space to let me share a little bit. I'm with my wife and partner Jill Tyler, who's also a professor at USD, and our son Joseph, who is a senior at Drake, looking for work after he graduates, by the way, for anybody if he... My theme today is miracles, and I'd like to gather us with some words about miracles to pull us together to consider what is a miracle. Thank you for your beautiful story. And I'd like to start with some very old words, if that's okay. And rather than speaking them, I'm going to make you sing them with me, if that's okay. We're going to go back 5,000 years to the great Hebrew people. One of the Psalms 96. I won't make you sing in Hebrew today. We'll do it in English. I will give thanks to the Lord my God, for God has done marvelous things for me. It sounds like this, and then I'll teach it to you. I will give thanks to the Lord my God, for God has done marvelous things for me. Let me teach it to you. The first part goes like this. I'll sing it and then you sing it back. I will give thanks. Sing that. I will give thanks. Now listen. To the Lord my God. Sing that. To the Lord my God. Now listen. For God has done marvelous things for me. Try that. For God has done marvelous things for me. Let's try the whole thing. I will give thanks. I will give thanks to the Lord my God. For God has done marvelous things for me. Let's do it again. I will give thanks. I will give thanks to the Lord my God. For God has done marvelous things for me. Let's do it one more time. I will give thanks. I will give thanks to the Lord my God. For God has done marvelous things for me. Thank you for that beautiful singing. So those words are about 5,000 years old. I'm going to come forward in time just a little bit and go about 2,000 years ago and read to you. I'm not sure you're supposed to have a favorite miracle, but I have a favorite miracle. I'm going to read to you my favorite miracle from the Gospel of Matthew. These words are about 2,000 years old. This is called the miracle of the feeding of the multitude. Now, when Jesus heard this, he withdrew from there in a boat to a deserted place by himself. But when the crowds heard it, they followed him on foot from every town. When he went ashore, he saw the great crowd, and he had compassion on them, and he cured their sick. Then, when it was evening, the disciples came to him and said, "This is a deserted place, and the hour is late. Send the crowds away so that they may go into the villages and buy food for themselves." Jesus said, "They don't need to go away. You give them something to eat." They replied, "We have nothing here but 5 loaves and 2 fishes." He said, "Bring them to me." Then he ordered the crowds to sit down on the grass. Taking the 5 loaves and the 2 fishes, he looked up to heaven and blessed and broke the loaves and gave them to the disciples, and the disciples gave them to the crowds, and all ate and were filled. And they took up what was left over of the broken pieces, 12 baskets full, and those who ate were about 5,000 men, besides the women and children. And then one more short piece, coming forward again, about 700 years old. This from the wonderful Sufi mystic, Jalaluddin Rumi, who always challenges my perceptions. This is his bit on miracles. He says this: "Make everything in you an ear. Make everything in you an ear, each atom of your being, and you will hear at every moment what the source is whispering to you. You are, we all are, the beloved of the beloved. And in every moment, in every event of your life, the beloved is whispering to you exactly what you need to hear and know in every moment of your life." Who can ever explain this miracle? It simply is. May these words fill our hearts and our minds and surround us today as we think about miracles. And I want to talk to you about my favorite miracle because I now use it as a life principle. I call it the LAF principle, spelled L-A-F, loaves and fishes. So when I was a kid, I think I would have fit in great at Unity. If you're about being curious, I was a very curious child, and I continue to be a very curious adult. My family would tell you that means annoying, because I always have questions about the questions about the questions. And so I want to know, in my favorite miracle, which has become my favorite miracle, where exactly does the miracle happen? Like most people immediately look at it, the loaves and fishes story, and they want to talk about magic. They want to talk about the fact that Jesus did some hocus pocus, and all of a sudden, 2 loaves became 5,000 loaves. And I think if that's the question you want to ask, you've missed the point of the miracle completely. I'm more interested in where does the miracle actually happen? And in order to understand that, you've got to listen not to what Jesus is doing, but what to his dumb old, human old, just like me old disciples are doing. And all they're doing is saying, "Hey, Jesus, listen, I'm tired. It's late. These guys have been around for a long time. It's been a long day. Can we just send them all home and let them go away? And can we just kind of rest because it's been a horrible day? And we don't have, let's let them go." And Jesus says, "No, you feed them." And immediately, they say exactly what we all would say. "We don't have enough. We don't have enough. There's not near enough. There is not near enough." And Jesus said, "Bring me what you got." And they bring him these 5 loaves and these 2 fishes. Now, this is the moment where some people want to talk about, I don't know, something that I'm not that interested in. What I'm interested in is what's going through the minds of the disciples. They're standing there watching, thinking, what's going on here? What they didn't know was that, and this is the last principle at the core, is they forgot. They weren't listening. They weren't paying attention. They forgot rule numero uno. This is the heart miracle of all miracles, and I'm going to let you in on the secret if you don't already know it, and I'm betting you do. Everything that we need is already here. All the love, all the relationship, all the food, all the warmth, all the safety, all the hope, all the joy, it's already here. The trouble with the disciples and the trouble with us and the trouble with me and the trouble with the culture in which we live today is we forget that all the time. We live in a world, right, which is a marketplace. We buy and sell everything. That's how we understand the world, right? You want to get food, you have to go to Hy-Vee. You want to feed these people, you have to get something. You have to pay for it. If you want care, even, we pay for our care. We pay for everything. We think about everything in terms of a marketplace. And when you start doing that, you start scarcity thinking. There's not enough. I don't have enough energy. I don't have enough time. Isn't this what we hear from everybody in our culture? Isn't this what you say to yourself all the time? Ugh. Maybe not you. I don't know you all well enough. I'm sorry. I apologize. This is what I say to myself all the time. Ugh. I don't have enough. But here's where the miracle process really begins. Jesus looks into their eyes and says, "Give me the loaves and fishes, for crying out loud." And he takes the bread, and what does he do? He gives thanks. He starts with gratitude. He says thank you for what he's got right in front of them. And the disciples are like, that's remarkable. He's going to give thanks for this little bit. But here's what he also knew. If you went to every one of those 5,000 families that's sitting out on the hill, Kathy has apples in her bag. I know she does. She just was scared because she didn't have enough. And Cindy brought crackers. She always brings crackers, and she's got some in her bag, but she wasn't sure. And Cynthia, she's a pickled herring girl. She's got plenty. But in our mindset, in our scarcity mindset, we sit there with our little baskets closed up quietly saying, I don't think I have enough to share, so I'm just going to keep my mouth closed, and I'm going to keep my picnic basket closed, and all of us are going to be hungry. See, each of us is, of course, a piece of the divine. We all carry that. We bring our gifts, our part. We've got it. It's in us. But often we are so timid, we are so worried that we don't teach Sunday school. And if all of us just close up like that, then there is no miracle. We're not going to be fed. Somebody's got to stand up and lift the bread up and say, guess what? We got plenty. Here's some bread. And the second I start sharing, then your apples come out and your crackers come out. Do you even like pickled herring? Yeah. And your pickled herring comes out, and then it's a love feast. People are like, well, actually, I do have something to share. I can sing a song. I can do a dance. I can be a part of something more than what I thought I could. This is the reflection when in that beautiful creation story that didn't happen as fast as, right? In that creation story, the power of that story is that we are created in God's image collectively. The real miracle is when we remember the marvelous things that God has done, when we give thanks, and then when we reach into our pocket and we share our peace. When we begin to offer who we are to the world, because the world needs what you've got to offer. Everything that we need is already present, right here with us, right here. We've got it all. But we're told constantly, if you're on Twitter and you see all those horrible messages that are flying around about how bad everything is, if you're on Facebook and it can appear to us that the world is in awful straits. And if we let that be the only voice that we listen to, now I'm going to go to Rumi, make everything an ear. If all you listen to is how bad everything is, then you'll never open your basket to share your light with the world. The miracle really happens in your heart. When you begin to understand that you've got something to offer the world. And boy, howdy, we need you more than ever to open your basket. So many people are so unaware of this important miracle that no other miracle is possible if we sit back. The last part of the miracle is that the disciples get up and begin to join and share and be a part of this. And in the end, it says in the story that they collected baskets of extra food. There are people in our world who are hungry for bread, and even more who are hungry for love and hope and possibility. There are people in our world who need warmth and need a kind word. All of this can be possible with the miracle of the loaves and fishes when we open our lives to our neighbor, to our loved one, to the next person we meet. We become part of the great laugh principle, where all are fed and there's plenty left over. You are the miracle. We are the miracle. May we, in richness and in grace, embrace the laugh principle and start to share like crazy. Amen.
Thank you